Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
we're live.
I'm gonna apologize. As soon as you minimized me, I started sneezing like I had done a bunch of bumps of cayenne. It was insane. So just warning you, I might suddenly just hit a fit, and I don't know why. But welcome to
Do I need
Essence
to
House, everybody.
do I need to wear a mask for this episode?
You might. It's this is a splash zone, everybody. Oh, I have to stop my talking. There we go. Volume is done. I'm gonna share this. Did you already share it?
Yeah, that's the whole reason that we aren't on screen right away. But some of us can just sit and sneeze for a minute and not share. I guess you are
Oh,
the Chuck Pino
I am. I don't need you. I'm a rhino and you're a flea.
of the Essence House.
How's everybody doing today? Okay, well then, now that I'm gonna go up here. Hey, Alfie, what's going on, homie?
Katrina, what up?
Oh, did I share this?
I don't know, but we're looking at your ceiling now. It's riveting.
Oh, yeah, we did. You can. Okay, yeah, I shared it, so people better be watching.
Cool.
Okay, we're here. We're talking about episode 13.
Yeah.
I have no problem telling the fans that I was very nervous about this episode. Um, I wrote this one, and we had two cool action-oriented episodes in the past, and I was like, and I got the hospital episode, like, and look, it's a good episode. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens there, but I was just like,
Not
like
only that, though, it's also coming off of. I mean, the end of season one was that crazy episode 9 with the airplane crashes and monsters, and episode 10 with the shootout, and that
this,
was crazy action oriented. Then we get
this is
into EGB, which is one of the coolest, most underrated episodes of our run.
yeah, I
And
agree with that.
then you come into season one, we had guns ablaze, or season two, guns blazing. Um, Two action. Well, not, first one wasn't action packed. It was kind of a little more psychological, I guess. But
Yeah, it was like a mental action. Yeah.
yeah, and then then episode 2 was some nutty stuff, and then episode 3, you're in the hospital.
I mean, this is like our first breather episode since like episode, I don't know, like 7. You know what I mean? So I was a little worried, I'll be honest.
I never saw it as a breather episode though, because there was some. We had the cool reveal in there. I mean, it was kind of there's some reveals towards the
We
end.
see,
Tristan hasn't been seen in a while, so getting back to Tristan was a big deal.
you're right. It's emotional action, which is a very different thing, and of course, different people are going to Kyron Silva. What up? Ooh, Kyron's here. We might get some questions.
Iron Saucy.
He is. And by the way, please ask us questions because at some point I'm going to be here by myself and I'm going to have something to talk about. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to duck out for like 5 minutes at some point. So,
so that's when
and
things are going to
we
get
all know
spicy.
Chuck can't talk for 5 minutes by himself.
Essence House After Dark. Um, um, so should we talk about episode 13? Like,
Yeah, you want to do a recap?
all right, let's see if I can remember it. Okay, so it starts with I almost even got the name wrong. Tristan. I almost said Travis. With Tristan in the emergency or in the hospital, and he's just waking up. And I want to give out a shout out to my baby brother David. If you listen to the episode, we had a gay nurse by the name of David, and my brother is a gay nurse, and he's just an awesome dude. I love him so much, and I thought, man, just I would love to immortalize him. So I got to make him that character, and he just got out of gastric bypass surgery today.
Wow.
So I want to send some love out to my brother David,
Wow.
and especially since he just got out of surgery and he's featured in this episode, had to do that. But
That's awesome. I actually didn't know that at all, so that's awesome.
yeah, you didn't know it was about my brother?
No, you kept that a secret. I never thought that. I thought it was a cool character.
Yeah, no, my mom and brother are nurses, and so I thought it'd be really funny. So, and my mom, her name is Nancy, and she's already named after one of our characters. So I was like, oh, I'll make David this little nurse, and he'll have his moment, and that'll be great. And actually, anybody who knows us knows that a lot of our friends have been featured throughout the whole series. So it's been very fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyron. Yeah, he's healing up right now. So, but anyways, he wakes up there. He finds out that he has a fiance. And we go, what? Like Tristan has a fiance? What's going on? And then, of course, we find out that that was all kind of a ruse by Jessica, just so that she could still see him and whatnot. And meanwhile, Barnabas is pretending to be his uncle. There was a lot of emotional. They were off very much, the two characters. Yes. So Kyron kind of has been featured. His Tim and Elise's grandmother is Grandma Silva.
Also, Katrina, you've been featured. You just have to go back and listen to them all and figure out where.
Honestly, Katrina, for someone who calls herself a super fan, as I've seen you do numerous times,
Yeah.
I'm hurt that you didn't notice.
This is a little embarrassing for you.
Yeah. I'm red for you. Anyways, we're such jerks. Like, we are the worst friends in the world.
We are, but people still love us.
I know, and they're dumb for it, I'll be honest.
Oh, Katrina says she's never used those words.
Oh, yeah, you say that now. I know how to use Photoshop. I can make it look like you said those words. But I don't know how to use the Photoshop. You're gonna have to do that, Eric.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
That's another job for you. He's in the hospital. There's some issues. It turns out that the bullets from episode 10, it actually got his kidney and spine, and so he was luckily not. He was basically awoken to the news that he was not a paraplegic. And so a lot of this episode is him healing and getting ready. And then he and Jessica, we have some time lapse happening. He ends up going, he and Jessica have a little place together because she's now overseeing his nursing. They end up going to see Barnabas, who then goes and am I just giving up the whole episode?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Might as well, right? So he then takes the two of them to where he buried the real Rick and explains what happened to his father. And of course, Tristan does not take that very well, sends Barnabas away. So we might have seen the last of Barnabas, at least for a while. And very shortly afterwards, their Aunt Flo, Tristan's Aunt Flo, and cousin Celeste show up to offer some assistance.
Yep. So, I mean, like, it wasn't like a real reveal that, you know, it was a reveal to the character Tristan that his father had already died and been buried. Like,
so I didn't know this, but Wendy told me, she goes, wait, so the Rick that he killed was actually the original Rick? And I was like, you didn't know that? And she's like, no, I thought he killed a time traveler. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
no, no,
Maybe
not at all. She's like, oh well, I need to go back and listen to that. I'm like, well, it's too late now. Like I just fucking told you. Like,
hey, I'll be right back.
all right, see you, bud. So now it's just us. Let's have some fun. Katrina says, just remember. Oh, did that get deleted? Oh yeah, just remember who is editing your book. I'm buying extra red pens next time I'm at the store. Yeah, you're gonna need to stock up. We might need to actually pay you more to afford all of the red pens you're gonna need. Yeah, please. It's just us now, so feel free to hit me up. Did you think the same thing? Yeah, no. So what ended up happening was, um, Rick goes back in time. Rick, of course, everything bad happens. Rick then survives the plane crash. Rick goes back in time to try to stop it. That Rick ends up. Thank you, Kyron. That Rick ends up going into the cockpit, and forces everything to happen just because of the waste that's inside of him that is created
False
when
alarm. I'm back.
holy crap when what is it when Barnabas, and I always want to call him EGB now, fuck, when Barnabas ended up killing the original Rick. So at that point that Rick stopped, and that's where the waste was created. So Katrina said she had thought the same thing. So that might be something that we need to edit and
Yeah,
expand upon.
we might clear that up in the book a little bit.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes when we're writing it like in this format, we need to keep things a little closer to the chest until like that moment. So it's hard to like build up, you know. It's either hard or we're just not great at it. But
Well, and here's the thing: you're working with multiple timelines, multiple versions of a person. So I mean, I get it. That can be confusing. I know that I'm writing a script where one person shapeshifts to look like the other, and so luckily it's for a comic. So I'm just like, all right, so
oh yeah,
this one is doing this, that one's doing that, blah blah blah, and I have to kind of use them like this guy number one and this guy number two,
I mean,
and so
we had to do little tricks like make mention that he was wearing a different coat and stuff like in that scene.
yeah,
And it was like you try to do that subtly so that it's not like crazy obvious what's about to happen or what's going on.
yeah.
And maybe when it's more in prose and you're reading it, maybe it's something that can be handled a little differently. But
Well, and that is the thing, right? With prose, you can always kind of go, "Oh, wait, what happened?" And you can go back. But with a podcast, you're more like, "No, let's just keep going. Let's do this."
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
No, but yeah. So that's I was just explaining that to the good folks here. I thought that was funny. Um,
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, and that was a sad moment too.
Mhm.
For Tristan to be able to deal with that, but also Barnabas is such an important member of the family. And so for that to have happened is just
Part of
it's
this
very
might
difficult.
be like the person that held the title of like the leader of the Essence Guard, the longest in the history of the Essence Guard. Like
I
he kind of he's kind of vital all around.
At least where this family is concerned,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, think about 72 to 2020. Oh, well, except for Andrew took it over for a little period of time there.
Yeah.
Can you hold on just a sec? I have to go check something. I'll be right back.
Wait, I gotta be alone now?
Yeah, you do.
Oh
Fucking
shit.
work.
Katrina, did you miss anything important? I would say not really, because it was mostly Chuck babbling for a few minutes. Um, but Chuck was just explaining how that whole scene with the airplane and the fight between Rick and Barnabas, how that kind of worked out. And then we talked about how basically we'll have to work with our editor to make that more clear when it comes to the book version that we got coming out. I have a couple announcements that we were going to make, but I'm going to hold off for Chuck for those. Oh, spill the beans about Chuck while he's gone. Man, I don't even know what there is to say about Chuck. It's hard to talk about a guy who's on Facebook Live 24 hours a day. What could you even say? Does anybody have any questions besides spilling Chuck's secrets and photoshopping Katrina's words? We'll say it might have been clear since we're that. So one cool thing about this latest episode was that it's actually our best 7-day run, like first 7 days of an episode. So we actually beat I think our previous episode by about. Chuck, I was about to talk about how this episode has our record right now for the most listens in the first 7 days.
Dude, that's so cool. I saw the picture of the devil, and I'm like, how did that? Did you do that?
I didn't do that. That was I don't know where that came from, actually.
I have no idea. It feels oddly appropriate with the while coming up and whatnot.
I didn't really question it. So our last episode in the first 7 days hit 74 listens. This one hit 86 in the first 7 days.
Yeah.
So we're trending up like quite well.
Yeah.
Since the season started, we've been trending up high.
So for those of you guys who don't know, if we had crappy numbers, I would tell you that what Eric is doing with me is obnoxious. But because the numbers are good, it's really cool. But dude, there's sometimes like hourly. It'll be like, dude, we just got, 14 more listens in the last hour, and you're like, holy crap, how's that? What? How's that even possible? What's going on here? So, it's not obnoxious because we're doing well.
If we weren't doing well, I wouldn't be checking the numbers every 5 minutes.
Right? Hey, did you know that no one's listening to us at all? Yeah, you told me that an hour ago. You need to shut up. Like.
So Kyron's asking what the process between the two of us is like. I guess we haven't talked about it in a little while. So our process has probably changed a bit since the start. I think like we've done when we started, we would there's Chuck's notebook.
This is this is the Essence House notebook.
So yeah. I think when we started, I kicked it off. I had because I basically had a pilot that I sent to you to get you on board. We tweaked that a bit and posted that, and then I think I wrote the next one. No, you wrote the second one, right? I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically I remember that I didn't end up writing one on my own until like episode 4. It was a lot of like you started it and then I finished it, or you did a whole episode and then I came through and I made additions and kind of added to it. But I think episode 4 was the first time where I was like, that one was me, and I got to, and actually it might even be 5, but whichever one it was.
Yeah, episode 4 was when they first time traveled.
That's right. So episode 5 with Jessica, that was my first full episode.
Yeah.
And so, I that was the first one I did all on my own. And then ever since then, they've basically been, you and I just, we'll do an episode, and we've gotten to the point where we talk ahead of time. So even like, I remember I got to do episode 10 and EGB, and you were like, hey, I would really like to do the first episode of season 2. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. So you did that, and then because it ended up going into 2 episodes, you were like, you said, can I do both of those? And I was like, yeah. It makes perfect sense. So he went and he did 2 of the episodes. Yes, Kyron, I do usually finish Eric off. You bastard. So he ended up doing that, and then I came 13, and then like we kind of call out episodes. So like I did 13, and now I'm doing 14 because those two run into each other. And then Eric was like, "Oh, I want to do 15," and then he said he was doing 15 because what 15 was doing with, and because I haven't had the chance to work with people in the past yet, I was like, "Ooh, I want to do 16, please." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." So I think we only know up to 16 what episodes people are doing, but that's something kind of a look behind the lens, sort of the fun of what we're doing and what we're looking at and whatnot. Trying to go back and look at some of these things. Um, Clear, but it's been a while since that episode. When is the Kickstarter? The Kickstarter is November. That's what we're aiming for. Um, so yeah, so what happens is that like I have this book, and he and I will talk, and we'll have sort of the first little bit is my daughter's art, which is great. She's good, but I know you're more worried about Essence House right now. So this is like the Essence House notes, and I just have like a bunch of stuff that's all just Essence House. And so we'll talk and we'll plot out. So I have season 1 here, like right here. If you were able to look, you'd see episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, all the way down. We're just kind of like plotting out the basics of what's going to be there and what it's going to look like. And we basically try to make sure that we get sort of the meat and the beginning and the end. And that way, we're always interested in what the beginning and the ends of the episodes are, because we want to know where we're ending the previous episode and where we're starting the next one. And so those things are always something that we tend to already have plotted out. The big reveal or the big finish for each episode, where we plan on doing that, and usually how we're gonna. We're not as worried actually about how we start an episode, just that we usually end up having a good idea of how we're going to start it because of how the last one ended. I was just going through the book, telling them all about the different episodes and how we start and finish and work on it and plot and all that kind of stuff.
I think our biggest change since the start is that we have formal meetings where we actually like plot out what's coming up, where we need to get, and like what all the big events are in each episode.
Yeah.
I think we did that stuff originally, but now I think we plan a little bigger. Like it's not so much on an episode by episode basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyron asked a really cool question. He said, "Will the Kickstarter add anything additional to the story or have any exclusive Kickstarter things?" I know that I believe we talked about digitizing it into an audiobook.
Yeah.
Which would be so you would actually have the entire file all together, and that would include EGB in 1995 and all that kind of stuff, which obviously will not be in the book. So the book will be different in that we have Katrina involved. So any things that we might have missed, any continuity errors or little issues that she picks up on or notices, will be fixed and worked on. But also, there's some certain scenes that we have seen and thought, hey, wouldn't it have been nice if we had the chance to expand upon that?
Yeah.
And kind of add to it and make it bigger.
I think there's a handful of times where there was something that, just like we just talked about, where there's something that wasn't super clear, that maybe that could be written out a little bit further and delved into.
Yeah. So that will definitely change it.
Yeah, I think that the story won't. There will be nothing like story changing, but I think there will be additional information and possibly some extra details thrown in.
Yeah.
Kind of like you see with the 1995 episode. Like at the tail end, there's a little bit that adds to, it kind of details the kids leaving and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And the end scene in
Yeah.
1995. Yeah.
No, sorry, I totally know what you're talking about.
I think things like that could possibly happen.
Sorry, I just got a message from a client, and they're like, "What's your PayPal? I want to pay you." And I was like, "Ooh, I want you to pay me too." Oh no, I'm doing this right now. Crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's up. I'm telling this guy what my PayPal is because I want my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't blame you.
right? Well, and I see them on Facebook so rarely that I'm just like, yes, I'm doing
Oh.
this right now. I don't feel like waiting.
So you talked about the November being the Kickstarter date.
Yes. So excited. And I know that the two of us are also talking about, perhaps having like stickers and some stuff like that. We know that people tend to like that stuff. I think it's going to be a pared down Kickstarter,
Mm-hmm.
but we also, we want to have some of the goodies and whatnot.
Yeah.
I have to say, Eric and I knew very little about novels on Kickstarter. And when we researched, I'm baffled because I saw a novel make 100 grand, and then I saw multiple novels literally at $0, and I was like, "Where are we on that spectrum, man?"
Hopefully we'll follow within there somewhere. I don't want to be on the low end of that.
Well, yeah, certainly not, right?
We have an editor to pay now.
Yeah, and the editors are expensive.
And hopefully a season 3 to fund. Oh, we shouldn't talk about season 3 publicly, should we?
No, right? But I mean, let's be honest.
Give enough pressure.
Yeah. Um, at this point, it's pretty much it's happening. Like, I I feel like I'm being dragged into season 3, kicking and screaming, but I'm really not. Like, it's more. It's not that I don't want to do season 3. It's that we had already decided, cool, we're going to end it on 2. We're probably going to have a fairly hard ending, and then we'll decide. We'll give it some time, and then it's like suddenly it's like, dude, this thing's going way too well. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want
And
to sit around.
there's too many ideas out there.
And then the ideas flowed. We got talking, and suddenly we're like, crap. And actually, I'm working on 14 right now, and there's gonna be even 14 and 15. There's gonna be a little bit of nuggets that are thrown out there that will take you into season 3. So that's kind of something cool as well that wouldn't have happened if we'd had the hard ending. Is that we saw it, we realized that was going to happen, and it's like, cool, let's just add that foreshadowing in there now and just make it happen.
Yeah. I think
Which is kind of no, go ahead.
I think it's cool too that I think that the like where we're heading with season 3 right now, like season 3 could totally be a jumping on point for people, just as well as season 2 could be a jumping off point. Like, I'd rather people not, but like it does have a satisfactory ending to the story, and I think it's cool that season 3 doesn't have like a forced opening. Like it was always going to be open to continuation. I think that me and Chuck just expected to continue it, after a bit more of a break, but now we see that we got some cool momentum going. And
well, and what I think is funny about all of this is that we have an audio drama that we're turning into a novel that we're writing like a TV series. And it's kind of messed up when you stop and you think about it like that.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's going too well, and if I never would have been okay with it, and I'm sure Eric feels the same way. We never would have been okay with forcing it.
Mm-mm.
But the problem is that those ideas just came
That's part
way
of
too easily.
that's part of why I had originally considered that we would take a year-long break or something after season 2 to come up with the right idea and stuff. It just so happens that we came up with that right idea while we were working on season 2.
Yeah.
And
And,
so
and we were both way too happy with it.
yeah, it's too natural.
Yeah.
So
Will it eventually be converted into a comic? That's a really good question. And it's one that we've actually talked about, even just between us, very little.
yeah,
I don't think the interest is there. I think we're both so excited for it, for the fact that I think it would be a serious letdown that we're able to make an episode in less than 2 weeks, like in such a short period of time, and then to go and work on one issue for 6 months, and and we're the amount of money that we're paying for an episode, and the amount of money that we would have to pay for an issue. I I don't know, man. Like it does
yeah.
not excite me at all.
I think
Um,
that if we were gonna do something like that, like I would want to do it as like a complete like volume, like I wouldn't want to do it as an episode or an issue a year or an issue every 6 months. I would want to
yeah,
get the story done at once. And
I was thinking the same thing. I would want to do some kind of one shot, whether it's a one shot floppy or it's a one shot trade or graphic novel or something like that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
but also I feel like I want to always I'm okay with doing stuff that it's exclusive to the novel or something that's exclusive to the audio book, but I feel like that's out of the realm, like both realms, and I wouldn't want to do something exclusive to a comic. I don't think, unless we
Yeah,
had like a comic series going on or something,
yeah, yeah. And I like that we have this separate thing that is this separate thing and can be its own different thing. It just, it's funny. And what was it? So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Frank Miller actually worked on the RoboCop series, the movies, and I believe he wrote RoboCop 2, which just got completely destroyed from the original idea that he had and all this kind of stuff. And he was so unhappy with the movie business that he decided, I'm going to write something that they'll just so out there and messed up that they'll never be able to turn into a movie. Now, it turns out that something was Sin City, which they then later on did turn into what is actually a quite successful movie.
Yeah.
But I think that for both of us, the interest is just not there. Yeah, he wrote RoboCop too. Yeah, so the interest is, and it really soured him from the movie business.
Now
And
on
I'm
that
sure.
on that note, I I would be open to a Essence House movie.
I so we both talked about it. The I think the ultimate dream, if this could be turned into something else and made, I think the ultimate dream would be to do a Netflix TV show
Yeah,
and just have an ongoing Netflix TV show. Yeah.
that would be like the ideal way to tell this story, and do it justice. I wouldn't want to truncate this story for a movie. Like,
Yeah.
given the right, I don't know. I would never say I wouldn't do it, but I think ideally, a series, keeping it in the serial format, would work for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be the ultimate way to play with it. And but I mean, right now we're two guys who are so happy with our numbers and so happy with our little audio drama and so excited to have a novel to be able to show off and sell and whatnot. And so that stuff is just kind of pipe dreams at this moment. Like if the idea were to come, that would be so cool. But
Yeah.
it's not really something that we're not focused on it. We just want to make this thing in what it currently is just as big as we can. I think we're both
And we're not, yeah,
blown away by the reception.
we're not doing an audio book as like a stepping stone, like to something else. Like this audio story is the way we wanted to tell this story. Like, so.
Well, and you and I had that conversation. We did that panel together where we talked about different formats. And
Yeah.
this was just something that worked really well. And we actually originally imagined it as a novel. And then we pulled back and we went, hey, wait, what if we did this as an audiobook? And then we pulled back even more and went, what if we turned it into an audio drama? And then it slowly, like, it's funny how we pulled all the way back and went, let's do audio drama, and then turned it into those things.
Yep.
But this is, I would say that the way we have formatted this and created it, we never talked about it. This just kind of happened organically, but it kind of reminds me of you make a floppy, and then you make a trade, and then you make a graphic novel. And we sort of did that in this, where we made the audio drama, the episodes came out, and now they can turn into an audio or into an audiobook, and then of course turned into the novel.
Yeah.
And so it's funny how it sort of built up in that way and was able to become those things. And of course, as soon as you said novel, I was so excited.
So Katrina just made an interesting point. This is a nano project fail, and it's good for this format though. But is NaNoWriMo, is that a November thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're running the Kickstarter 2 years after we failed this on NaNoWriMo that same month 2 years ago.
Yep.
Awesome.
And it's funny. I mean, NaNoWriMo is so funny because there's been some stuff that has come out of it. There was a book that was turned into a movie that was a NaNoWriMo project. Yeah. So
you know I should dig up my original drafts from NaNoWriMo and post it.
Right. I wonder how close it is to what we're doing now.
All I know is that I named the main character after my son. That's like the biggest change I can recall. We didn't get very far either, so I think I have like maybe a scene written, but that'd be fun to post.
Well, and it's funny because what you were working on, what I was working on the second novel, and the second novel was actually going to be a fair amount of what we're dealing with now. And when I did it, it was called Le Maison du Essence, and so it was going to be like the Essence House in France or whatever, like somewhere, or I think Switzerland might have been it all along. But yeah, we were going to play along with that, and instead we ended up going, well, actually, we can bring all of this together and make one really cool novel.
Too.
Yeah.
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 So we had a couple of announcements. Should we talk about those?
Let's do.
Okay. So the first one is it's kind of a two-part announcement. So we've actually posted. We started to post just today. We started to post Essence House in prose format on the Tapas website. Which, if you're not familiar with Tapas, it's like a serial story website. These are the original scripts, so it still will differ from the final book. So it's not, you're not reading the book right now.
Yeah.
So, which is cool because there's still something to look forward to with that book.
You're literally reading what Mike read.
Yeah. So for people that aren't into the audio stuff, like they can't get into it, this would be a good place for them to go to check it out. And we're posting a chapter a month, like a half a chapter every 2 weeks. So that's going on there. And as a second part to that, we've actually posted the cover art from our book, at least as it exists right now. There could be some tweaks, but so you can go check it out.
What is the name of the artist?
So
just to give her
Christina Lorraine is our artist, and so right now is that's where you can check out that artwork. And if you go to the Tapas website, which is tapas.io, you can search for Essence House, and we'll post a link. We'll be posting about that tomorrow. So Katrina hasn't seen that yet? Hold up, Chuck. You talk for a minute while I send Katrina this link so that she can be the first to see this.
What, the tapas?
She hasn't seen the cover.
Well, shouldn't we like dangle it in front of her a little bit longer? Like this is you and I have a strict fuck around with Katrina rule, okay? And you're breaking it very quickly, and I don't know what to do with you.
No, we decided about 20 minutes ago to show that today, so to reveal that today. We're not actually showing it on the show, so you have to go to the Tapas website and check that out. But we will be posting a link to that. And the cover is badass. We will show it on an upcoming show, just not today.
The cover, one thing, and I don't remember, was is it? It's painted, right?
Yeah, she's a painter.
Now, so, are you going to own that actual painting?
Yeah, as soon as it's safe to retrieve it from her.
Right.
She actually had a bout of COVID in her family going on recently. Everybody's recovered and well, but that was a thing going on over there. So, but yeah, I'll have the painting, and it's awesome. So yeah, so if you do go to check out the cover at the Tapas website, please subscribe. That would be awesome. So that was number 1, which is kind of a two-parter. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that one. Number 2 is that just today, Amazon has started the Amazon podcasts section of their website, and Essence House is one of the inaugural podcasts on that website. So that
was just so weird to think about.
Like one day we could tell our grandkids, and you already have grandkids, don't you? But I'm pretty far from that. I can tell my grandkids, and you can tell your great grandkids. My podcast is first on the Amazon platform. So that was something.
Hey, kids!
That was something that we had the opportunity to apply for. I don't know, was it a month ago or so?
Yeah, probably more than that, yeah.
So we had to do a couple things and get that in order, and that's finally launched today. So that'll be another link in our long list of links that we post with every episode.
Right? We're going to have more link than post.
Oh, we already do.
We already have that. Yeah, you're right.
I don't even know how many links it is right now.
Yeah, it's an awful, and it's probably not all of them because I don't think we put Podchaser up there.
No, I think it is.
Oh, do we?
There probably are some that there are some that I don't have. We talked about this last week. I don't have an Android phone, so there's a couple links that I couldn't get. I need to send them to you to get those links. Get you to get those links to me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So it's missing like a few that I know about, and there's probably some that we don't know about, but it's pretty comprehensive.
Well, and it's funny though how like we don't know some of this stuff, and so suddenly you start looking around, like it's the same as like you Google yourself, and you're like, oh crap, there's actually stuff about me.
That's how I updated that list maybe 2 weeks ago, and I updated it through Google and through our analytics. It wasn't like there are tons of places where we didn't put ourselves there, but we've grown to a point where we've been added there, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like we literally do need to Google, and like I've been Googling Essence House and us a bunch lately, trying to figure out where some of our growth has come from. Like,
could you please find an explanation for these numbers? Because there isn't one.
I like analytics, and I like when you can kind of trace things, and there's a disconnect somewhere in there where I can't trace it. I just know that we're doing really well. I just don't know. And part of it, I think, is that some of the growth that we've had is overseas. And it's harder to, search engines don't react like, you can't just search like Asian websites on Google. You can, but it's not just like you type it in and those aren't just going to pop up. You have to tricks to get to that. So
You got to do your dig.
and we've had growth in Asia and Europe like crazy. So,
Yeah.
which is why every time I wake up, I pull up the analytics and I'm like, wow, we had like 30 listens overnight. Like, but it's not overnight to the people that are listening.
No, yeah, right. They probably did it on their drive to work.
Yeah, coming home at night and I'm waking up and
Yeah.
so it's been awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's such, dude, this has been such a crazy trip. And to think that it's weird, this weird year is so friggin' weird because there's so many things that have happened this year, and then, but it feels like it was last year because it's so, like, everything feels so long ago. Like, one of the books I edited um, came out on Kickstarter in May. I didn't know that. I thought it came out last year, and so they were like, "We're gonna send you some copies of this," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, no offense, it's kind of about time." And they're like, "It just came out in May, dude." And I'm like, "Really? I thought that was last year." So I look like a total asshole because I'm like, "Yeah, it's about time we had some books, you know." And meanwhile, it's like, dude, we just funded in May. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. This year's all messed up. I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, it really has been. It's nice to have something good happening amongst everything else, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Like when this pandemic happened, we were able to say, "Hey guys, check out Essence House. It's free. We're not making any money off of it."
We're losing money on it.
Yeah, but not like
Not a lot.
comics.
It isn't a
No.
lot.
And actually, I was speaking to my mom and I said, "It's insane that it's insane to me, and we haven't done all of the budgetary stuff, but on average, the Kickstarters that I'm able to do, it's between like $2,000 and $3,000. If Essence House hits, say $3,000, we would basically be able to print the book, probably take care of the rewards, and completely recoup ourselves of the money we've put into it
Yeah.
for all the episodes. And a comic Kickstarter is not doing that with no
Oh.
$3,000.
And yeah, like hopefully we can come out of a Kickstarter with funding for season 3 and everything. Like that would be the dream. You know?
That, yeah, that would definitely certainly be the dream.
Like
Absolutely.
take all of that off of us and just create.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
been one of the,
absolutely.
that has been cool. Like we did a special video at the beginning of the COVID stuff, like talking about putting out, we're putting out this free thing. We'd love you to check it out and stuff. And that has been it's been a cool thing to be able to like give this out and people to actually like check it out and enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
you could pump out a PDF of a comic and there'll be some people that'll enjoy it, but most people will save it and stick it in a folder and never check it out. Most people is me. I'm trying to get better about that, but it's harder. But this is actually something people are checking out because the only way you can get it is free, and it doesn't feel like it's devaluing it at all. Like,
Yeah. It's funny. I have a client who loves the series. He's been just so supportive and amazing. Um, and he's been binging it like mad because he works overnights. And so he told me, he's like, "Hey, do you guys have an episode coming out this Wednesday?" And I was like, "No, 13 came out last episode or last Wednesday." He said, and then 14 comes out next. And he goes, "All right, I don't think I'm going to listen to 13 right now." And I was like, "Oh." And I was kind of disappointed. And then he said, "I'd rather have 2 episodes and feel like I'm binging again than," he said, it's very tough just listening to one episode and being caught up. And I was like, "You can go back and re-listen to episodes. Just
yeah,
letting you know that's an option, and it's a really good one."
yeah, for real.
Dude, Kyron's over here. I will just give you all the money I made off of the Saw 3 Kickstarter. Thank you, but no, because we want more Saw.
Yeah, right.
So don't do that. We need you to keep making more of her. So
Yeah. If all the entertainment that exists is the stuff that me and Chuck make, then Me and Chuck have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. Because meanwhile, in my head, I'm so selfish. I was like, if everything is just what we make, that's pretty great, actually. And then you're like, we don't get to enjoy anything. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, there's that.
Although going back to our process, there is a lot of times where we're enjoying new things on this show ourselves. So
Yeah, and it's actually funny. Um, there's been certain shows that I have gone back or that I've gone and binged and listened to in order to get a better feel for what we're trying to do with Essence House. The two big ones for me were Twin Peaks. I went and I watched all of Twin Peaks except for the new stuff, just because I couldn't get any access to it, and that was kind of neat. And then I also, for this season, went and rewatched Lost, which was really nice.
we should do a show sometime where we talk about some of the shows that and stuff that have influenced this and give like a list. Like there's I went back and reread some books to prepare for this show and like I think it might be interesting to kind of put some of that out there. I mean, we've talked about some of it off and on throughout the last year, but
and it's funny, we haven't seen much of it so much now because our characters are a lot more removed. They're a lot more sort of used with the time travel and everything that's going on. But in the beginning, there was an awful lot of we were talking about Back to the Future, we were talking about the Terminator, we talked about 12 Monkeys. Like there was all these things that we talked about, and then and now a lot of those references have kind of gone by the wayside because now it's like this is its own thing, and they're living it now, and so
I think most of the references or influences right now that come up are more like storytelling, like behind the scenes type things for me now. Like coming into season 2, in particular, I went back and reread Roger Zelazny's Nine Princes in Amber because there was the scenes at the end where he was imprisoned for a long time, and I wanted to get a feel for how he handled that again because I've read that book a lot, but it's been a little while, and I thought that he did an awesome job of making that an eternity. So,
well, and I think so did you. Like we still have even just as creators, we don't know how long he was in there for.
No,
it could have been days, but we have no clue. And I love the idea of us not really going into it.
No,
I think when we do the novel, you know what? I'm literally just coming up with this thought now. You know what is the one thing? What's that?
We go offline. Should I put up the screen?
Right. The one thing that I was thinking that we didn't mention is his facial hair growth.
No, yeah.
And we could have shown some facial hair growth and given people a little bit of information as to what that would look like.
Maybe, but also if you're stuck in a timeless void, maybe there is no real facial hair growth and such.
Maybe he didn't age, right? Yeah, certainly. That's a conversation we're gonna have to have. Which is time travel. It's so funny making this kind of stuff because you have to make your own rules.
Yeah.
Or you have to decide what rules you're gonna follow.
There's like certain things that you really need to like stick to and really think out, but then there's other things that you can just make up to fit your story. And there's we haven't talked about it publicly, and I still won't right now. But we do have a thing that came up in early on in the series that was like a total bust when we discovered that it would never actually existed, and then we had this moment of discussing, do we fix it or not, and one day we'll talk about it more, maybe. It's actually fun for somebody to find it, but
it goes to show the difference between the two of us because you were so like, oh, dude, okay, we're gonna have to, and you were like coming up with these things, and I was like, nobody is going to notice it. And if someone actually notices this one little thing, I almost feel like we just do something really nice for them.
The
Like
thing
if they
about
come to us
the thing about
and
this
they
one
go,
for me is that I am the person, if I didn't write it, that would have noticed it, and I was the one
right?
that wrote it, and I screwed it up.
But yeah, I feel like if somebody finds, and I'm going to throw that out to you guys right now. If you're able to find that one screw up, that one little thing, which isn't even a screw up, it's so minute, but that one little thing that we kind of messed up with, if you find it, then we will do something special for you. Whether it's a book signed by the two of us or whatever, we'll figure something out. But
Actually, I
if
have
you
an
do
idea.
that,
I have an idea of what it would be. I'm not going to say it because it would give away what the problem is, but I'll tell you.
oh, okay,
You know where I'm going?
I think so.
Yeah,
Would we would both sign it?
yeah.
Okay, I see what's up. I see what's up.
No, it's a fun one though. There's
That's a fun dude. If we're thinking of the same thing, that's a fun idea.
yeah.
Oh, Kyron says he found it. Kyron, what do you think you found? Dude, you guys are literally probably the only two in here. If you guys found it, say it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's interesting. Katrina said, if it's truly timeless, as in time doesn't move, does he need to use the bathroom, eat, etc.?
I
So that's true. So
I
he
think
did,
in the episode he definitely used the bathroom.
and he
Yeah,
subsisted because he
yeah,
he was basically eating the wine.
yeah. Wine was keeping him going. So,
So we may want to deal with the facial hair. That's a really good point, Katrina.
or we just got to make up our own rules.
Yeah, yeah. You shit and you get hungry, but you don't grow facial hair. That's a whole different temporal thing.
Also, his fingernails and such, like, kind of have to. Maybe he's, of course, yeah. He was such a mess. He's probably sitting there biting off his nails.
Uh, there's not enough WAP in the series. There is. We're leaving that for the novel. I didn't know what that meant up until like just a couple days ago.
I don't know if this is the show to talk about.
I'm not gonna.
I can switch to a YouTube video for us real quick.
Karen said, if we were the only two in here, should we join? Well, if you guys came into the screen, then we would be like several other indie comics TV shows where everybody who's watching is actually in the stream. So, nah, we'll be one of the few shows that actually has an audience. We'll keep it like that for now.
Hey, if you go back and check out these, we get like 200-300 views like a week later.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of this show, though, we also I don't know if we ever mentioned it, but this show gets posted to YouTube. Although I think I'm a week behind. I don't think I put up last ones yet. But we post. So there's an archive of all these. So if you just started watching the show or listening to the podcast and watching us, you can go back and get insights going back for the last 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And then also we just launched the Essence House After Show as a podcast of its own, which I actually just got the notification. I guess I could have announced that, but I just got the notification yesterday that we were on iTunes with that. So this actually, the After Show is a podcast of its own that's on several networks now.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there's lots of avenues to check out me and Chuck babbling.
The world needs more of that too. You don't grow facial hair, Kyron? That's funny.
Yeah,
I don't either. It takes me a long time.
I have to shave every day.
This is me shaving yesterday. No, but this I shaved not too long ago.
I was just actually when I took that break earlier, I went and shaved. It was already starting to come in.
Is that what that was all about?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Wait,
5
I'll be right
o'clock.
back. Halfway through the
shadow.
episode, I have to shave like a werewolf.
Yeah, you actually missed a spot right. No, with the. Yeah, okay. There you go.
Um, I don't know if we have
Katrina
anything
shaves
else.
once a week. Are we still talking about your face? I don't shave my legs that often. That helps.
So does anybody have any Essence House related questions or comments?
Derailed.
This I mean this did start Essence House related. Tim's Harry
Yeah,
Tim.
Harry Tim. You Are you saying you do have questions there, Katrina? Because if you do, we would love to answer them.
Yeah, we're all for questions. And you can ask us questions that we won't answer. That's fine too. Me and Chuck
Yeah,
are masters of that.
I mean that was most of the first like 4 or 5 after shows. Were like, we can't talk about that. We can't.
That
But we
beginning
would
was really
we would
tough.
give teasers.
I don't know if it was a great like marketing wise, if it was a great idea to try to tease the show without talking about the time travel, but it was a really tough thing to do.
Yeah.
It was teasing the mystery. And we had one guy that I know one person in the first episode hit me up and was like, "This is about time travel, isn't it?" And I was like, "Wow, yep."
Nailed it. See you later.
That was our buddy Joseph Dewis.
Oh, did he do that?
Yeah. Well, actually, we sent the script off to a handful of people, like 3 people, and he was
Oh,
one
that's
of them. And he read it, and he was like, "This is about time travel, isn't it?" And I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
great. Yeah. Crap. Um, yeah. Actually, Kyron asked something, and I almost want to talk about it. He said, "Essence House, what's that?" Um, yeah, you're gonna see some really cool things happening this season. That's all I'll tell you. Um, do we have any kind of, well, I guess, should we start teasing 14?
Yeah,
So 14 I'm working on right now. I got to get finished probably today.
yeah, you do.
And this is what I have to put up with.
I mean, it
People.
comes
This
out.
right here.
It only comes out in a week, so you know.
And so yeah, I'm saying this is what I have to put up with, and meanwhile he's saying, yeah, this is what I have to put up with. I have a week. We have to get it done, and I have to edit all the sound and everything. Just for that, I'm putting some really crappy sounds in there. Um, so so first off, I want to say I'm super excited about the opening um, for episode 14. We get to see some people and a time period that we haven't got to play with at all. And so I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy that. That was something really fun to play with. But very much it's about Tristan, Jessica, and now Celeste, and them starting the search for Tim. And so where does that take them? What do they find? Um, there's a massive reveal at the end of this episode. A massive reveal at the end of 14, where I believe it's going to be one of those jaw-dropping, like, wait, what moments. So, yeah, guys, I think you guys are going to like episode 14 a
That's
lot.
gonna be a really cool one. Like we talked about that one so long ago, like that reveal.
That reveal has been a huge one. Yeah, absolutely. So I think you guys are gonna love that a lot. So 14 is going to be a big one. It's definitely going to be if 13 was a breather, 14 we're back into the sprint again, guys. We're doing it. So
I want to say
and
that, like, if not from 14 on, like at least the next few episodes are all like very, like go go go, like action. I think.
well, even looking ahead, I don't see another breather. Like if you needed the breather, you got it. And now we're sprinting to, like, we're about to release episode 14 and we're sprinting for 20. Like just everything is action, 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 because you're building up towards the end of a novel. So, of course, since we're in a room full of writers right now, you guys understand like this is all that rising action. So the next breather you might get is towards the end of episode 20, where it's like,
Yeah.
and we dealt with things. Now we get to talk about it and all that.
Hey, Kyron. So Kyron asked, you've introduced the walking stick. Will we see other time traveling items in the future? I think I'd be comfortable enough to say that that's. I have some thoughts on that coming out of season 2. I don't know that anything like that will play into the rest of the season 2 story, but
No, but certainly season 3. There's a very big possibility of that,
actually,
especially.
like, I guess in episode 14, kind of dropped the hints, the some clues towards that. Um,
Yeah,
kinda. So, but I don't think that you'll definitively see something until the future. But we definitely set a precedence with the walking stick for that
yeah,
possibility,
yeah.
and there's a long
Uh,
history there. So,
Tristan and Jess are really brother and sister. How weird is that? And actually, if you look at how old they are and whatnot, um, Jess is not that much older than Rick. Really. You think about it. So I think she was. I think we had her. I believe I do have her age. I believe she was about 23 when they met her in 1995, which would have meant that she was born in 72.
so
So
he was
probably,
older than her at that time when they met, and then
yeah.
when they skipped to the main timeline,
Now she's older.
now she's older. That's a funny dynamic.
Oh crap! Sean Barbour is in the house.
Whoa. So it's funny that Kyron asked that because often when Kyron says something about a theory or asks us some questions, me and Tucker are like, oh, that would have been interesting, but it's too late for that. Now he actually suggested something that was pure
That we
garbage.
can play with.
Yeah, we can do, and it's a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, we could do some with that. We won't. That sucks. But we could.
Although, to be fair, Tristan and Jess like have not romantically been a thing.
Yeah.
Like, so if they were brother and sister, there might be a little awkwardness, but
It's not like we haven't had the Luke and Leia kiss yet.
yet.
So, you know.
I like that you said yet, as if they're actually brother and sister.
Right? Or if they're gonna kiss, we don't even. We'll see how that all comes together, folks.
Oh, it's not a terrible idea, Kyron. Get over yourself.
Uh, Katrina says, "I think there should be a time traveling 8-track player."
Huh?
Like,
That's not impossible.
right? Yeah, but it should only take you. It should be like there's a time traveling Betamax, and it only takes you back to the period of time where Betamax was actually usable.
And when you go back, you have to try to convince everybody that Betamax was superior.
Yeah.
That's what Betamax people do, right?
Hey, so we're now doing Essence Laserdisc, and so for that period of time, it was clearly the best thing out there. Um, Karen says, "I'm writing my own book tomorrow called Essence Shed." Yeah, so
That sounds a
isn't
little
Essence
primitive.
has
We actually have a shed.
we do have a shed? Yeah, so I think you should write that, and then I think you should talk to our lawyers, of which I have none.
I know a guy.
Essence. Oh, good. Ooh, okay. So Essence Winnebago sounds like Essence House meets Breaking Bad, and I want to write that. Like they make a drug that allows you to time travel.
Might be able to fit that into season 4.
Ooh, okay. This meth is so good. How good is it? It's medieval good. But with how much we've run off the rails, I would probably, and we talked about 14 already. I think we're probably about ready to wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
Let's make Essence Apartments. The Essence Motel. It's actually a Bates Motel and Essence House mixed together. Yeah.
What if
It
they
turns
rebuilt
out,
the Essence House into a bed and breakfast?
right? It turns out that he actually is his own mother. And that's just because of time travel. It's a whole other thing. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us as we prattled on and we had fun. We've had a really good time. Sean, you're actually making it a good idea. Please don't do that.
Actually, Sean's idea there was an original idea of mine with the house. One of the things that happens in the house.
Yeah,
So
wasn't it each room could take you to a different time period or
yeah, there was
something?
like instead of the wine cellar, there was like halls in this basement that all led to different. Yeah, we simplified it a bit, but that was my original story.
We simplified it and also made it more difficult, right? So,
Complicated it, yeah.
yeah.
We simplified that particular idea, and then overcomplicated everything else.
But yeah, we've got lots of goodness coming forward, especially with November coming up so fast right now. Oh my gosh. But we're very excited for it, and we really hope that you guys will keep talking about it, keep enjoying it, and we just want to say thank you, man. Like,
Yeah,
this has been such a huge success for both of us in our eyes and whatnot, and we really have you guys to thank about it for watching, listening, and talking about it. So we really appreciate that.
yeah, we do. And if you're using Amazon Music already, go ahead and find us on there and subscribe to us on there. Check us out on Tapas. If you have a Tapas account, let us know and we'll follow you on there.
Yeah, and give us a rating. We would love that.
Yeah. And if you like how everything's going, please go ahead and write us a review. If you don't like how everything's going, hit us up privately.
If it's not 5-star, come talk to us.
So, cool. Well, thanks, y'all. Hitting the button now. So,
Peace, love, and podcast.